Disease X may finally be here. A lot of us have been waiting for Disease X to arrive. There's been speculation as to whether or not Disease X was going to be the deliberate bird flu outbreak or some of the other outbreaks that we've seen over the last year or so. But we all knew it was coming, and of course that's because they told us it was coming, and their excuse for telling us it was coming is because, of course, they're just trying to prepare us for a scenario when there's going to be another outbreak so that they can protect us, just like they did last time, right? Just like they protected us from the flu, and of course, by protecting us from the flu, what ended up happening was a lot of people ended up, without knowing, even though they should have known better, poisoning themselves. The mysterious illness, as you heard, in the Congo is now being dubbed Disease X, and it's killed dozens of people according to the WHO. Now, if you go back to earlier this year in January, when they were meeting at the World Economic Forum, Disease X was the hot topic, and everybody was starting to talk about Disease X because some people were saying, wait a minute, why are they talking about another outbreak before it actually occurs? And light bulbs started to go off in their heads, kind of like before the last outbreak when many of us were sounding the trumpets the best that we could to tell people that it was coming because nanotechnology had to get implanted inside of your body. But nobody listened then, and then when we were all proven right, still those people that doubted us originally continued to say that we were conspiracy theorists because they refused to actually believe in the real reality that's going on. That wicked people in high places are conspiring against the human population on Earth in every single country. So let me show you and tell you what they're saying in regards to this mysterious outbreak. A mysterious illness which the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is calling Disease X. So they're now officially calling it Disease X. Has killed at least 31 people, mostly children, in the remote Panzai region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, according to the World Health Organization. The WHO said that 406 cases of the disease have been recorded approximately 435 miles southeast of the capital, Kinshasa. More than half of those who died were children younger than 5 years old who were severely malnourished, according to the health agency. And when you hear that about children younger than 5, it's obviously very, very heartbreaking. We are not sure if we could actually take any of the data or any of the stories for value since it's coming from the mainstream media. But what you can take for value are words that come out of the mouths of these demons, specifically everybody's favorite demon, or I should say most loathed demon, Bill Gates, when he was talking about, well, let him tell you himself.
Is there something to worry about with medicines? That is, might some of them have side effects? Do we need safety testing? I mean, and we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
Yeah, so maybe we can correlate what's happening there. There is truth to all these young children dying to something that Bill Gates admitted to doing, which you would think would immediately result in handcuffs being put on Bill Gates after saying a sentence like that, right? Who launches the Disease X operation? Okay, so they're down there, they're launching the operation. Don't be suspicious at all about our government with the Disease X Act of 2023 and how to get you prepared for Disease X. It's amazing that from all those years before the last outbreak, that nobody was actually worried about any kind of an outbreak. And of course, it has nothing to do with them caring about your health. It's just about something getting put inside of your body. And this goes back to the Plandemic Treaty, which I'll cover after I show you this compilation of clips where it's almost like these people are giddy at the notion of a black swan event. They're giddy at the notion of what they're calling Plandemic 2 in some of these clips with the people like Bill Gates and some of the other corporations. And don't forget, Elon Musk was on board with it too, but of course has switched off of it for now because there's obviously a plan in place to get the Trump supporters in line because everybody's got to have it. But it's amazing how all these tech guys seem to be so concerned about the health of the world.
So we, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time. In the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when. The risk per year, 2%, 3%.
The next pandemic, and there will be one. There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
We definitively will have to face other surprises, black swans, as they are called, maybe different kinds of viruses.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Most of the work we're going to do to be ready for pandemic 2. I call this pandemic 1.
There will be certainly what we call the black swans, the unpleasant surprises which will come in our way.
After we started putting a placeholder, the first that came was in the disease X is COVID. So we have experience now, and we are preparing based on that experience. A lot of assessment has been done.
There is no doubt that the delays in reaching lower-income countries and communities with vaccines cost lives. We cannot allow the same thing to happen next time. And there will be a next time. History teaches us that the next pandemic is a matter of when, not if. It may be caused by an influenza virus or a new coronavirus, or it may be caused by a new pathogen we don't even know about yet, which is what we refer to as disease X. There has been a lot of attention on disease X recently, but in fact, it's not a new thing. We first used the term disease X in 2018 as a placeholder for an as yet unknown disease for which we can nonetheless prepare. COVID-19 was a disease X, a new pathogen causing a new disease. But there will be another disease X, or a disease Y, or a disease Z. And as things stand, the world remains unprepared.
So, of course, we're not prepared for it. The countries aren't prepared for it. This has a lot to do with, obviously, biometric data, biometric tracking, hacking you, and getting your digital ID in place. But they're talking about this at the same exact time that Reuters releases an article that says Tedros is confident finalizing this treaty in the year 2025, this treaty that they are so hell-bent on getting out there. And, of course, this treaty is already in place. There's clearly some type of psychological op going on with this treaty, where they know that there's people who are going to be skeptical. They obviously get all the data from everything that we all put out onto the internet, and they study that, and they realize that the more that they seem forceful of pushing this, the more people will actually pull back and say, okay, well, I don't know if I trust this anymore. I don't know if I trust what's going on. So they pretend like some of the countries are opposed, as if they're actually negotiating this thing. And this is going to come to a head with Donald Trump. And of course it is. And I wonder what they possibly have planned, because you can obviously guarantee that Donald Trump will not be out in the open this time around with any of the stuff going on in regards to disease X like he was last time. Conveniently, his entire audience dismisses the whole Operation Warp Speed, which obviously drives all of us insane. But they're talking about getting this done in May of 2025. And part of this article from Reuters says, well, there's going to be questions about whether the administration of Donald Trump will support it. So I'm sure Donald Trump administration will not support it. And this will be a way to lure conservatives in, obviously more than they already are with Donald Trump. And there'll be some type of countermeasure. There's so many things that are going to come out of all of this circus that we've been experiencing since 2016 with Trump, now going into 2025, with them waiting to unleash this quote-unquote black swan-like event on the public. And of course, Trump opposing it will also play very much into people giving more support to Trump. Now, he doesn't support those globalists, right? And he'll have some type of counter plan. But remember, at the end of the day, they've got to get nanotech inside of people's bodies. So they're not waiting around for 30 years to unleash disease X. And the fact that they're already calling this disease X, and they're teasing the fact that this could be airborne, and they're teasing the fact that, well, we're going to need some type of biometrical data tracking system put in place. Oh, and Donald Trump, we're going to believe, is opposed to it. He probably will play that role and have his own personal one so that you could trust that it's safe to get his digital ID or his magic potion. It is going to be an absolute circus. So be ready for it.